The time is precisely 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Danishka Madhavala and read by Chandima Veerakorn. The headlines. Minister Dr. Sarath Weerasekara says that no one has the right to interfere with internal affairs of an independent nation under any means. The vaccination process of police officers with Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has commenced. 8 more coronavirus-related deaths have been reported in Sri Lanka yesterday. A small earthquake was reported from Valapane area in Nuwara Eliya this morning. Park and Ride city bus service will be introduced to Kandy area soon. A commission has been appointed to implement the recommendations of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into political victimization. Portugal close to running out of ICU beds for COVID cases. Local stories in detail. Minister Dr. Sarath Weerasekara says that no one has the right to interfere with internal affairs of an independent nation under any means. Addressing a gathering in Narayanpeta this morning, the minister said that the allegations levelled against Sri Lanka by the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, is baseless. The government of Sri Lanka will submit their views against these allegations in the near future. The vaccination process of police officers with Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has commenced. It has commenced in the Narayanpeta Police Hospital with the participation of Minister Professor Sarath Weerasekara this morning. 150 police officers will be vaccinated today. The minister said that the aim of the government is to defeat the COVID-19 disease and win the economic goals of the country. The support of the people is essential in this regard. He said that the president is working towards supplying a good vaccine for the people in this country. 848 new COVID-19 cases were reported on Saturday. Among the positive cases identified, 844 are associates of the Palyagoda COVID-19 cluster and 4 are associates from the prison cluster. According to the Epidemiology Unit report at 11 p.m. Saturday, a total of 63,293 COVID-19 cases have been reported and 6,703 infected patients are being treated at hospitals. Another 566 individuals are currently suspected of infection and hospitalized. Sri Lanka reported 56,277 patients have fully recovered and been discharged from hospitals. A total of 1,694,083 PCR tests have been conducted to detect COVID-19 infected persons from February 18th to January 29th, according to the Health Promotion Bureau. 8 more coronavirus-related deaths have been reported in Sri Lanka yesterday. The Government Information Department said that the death toll in Sri Lanka rose to 313 yesterday. The latest victims were from Colombo 10, Colombo 15, Colombo 12, Rajagiriya, Vahaduwa, Madavala and Pokunuvita. State Minister Dilum Amnugama says that Park and Ride city bus service will be introduced to Kandy area soon. It will be implemented in areas covering Kandy, Katugastota, Tennekumbura and Gannorua. The main aim of the project is to reduce the number of vehicles entering the city. A commission has been appointed to implement the recommendations of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into political victimization. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has appointed the commission headed by Supreme Court Judge Dhammika Priyantha. Supreme Court Judge Kema Kumudini Wickramasinghe and Appeal Court Judge Ratnapriya Gurusinghe have been appointed as members of the commission. Army Commander General Shavendra Silva says that even though the separatism has been defeated in the country, there are so many people who shed crocodile tears on behalf of the LTTE in Sri Lanka and other countries. They support the LTTE agendas on financial benefits. Participating in the Subhati discussion program held at the Army headquarters, he said that people in the north and east are well aware about the services done by the Tri-Forces to save them from the brutal terrorism. The Army commander says that the Army is always in the forefront to save the motherland at any time. He also said that during this pandemic season, aim of the people of the country should be the defeat of the coronavirus and achieve the economic goals of the country. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with the local stories, A number of plastic items, including single-use sachet packets, have been banned. The Ministry of Environment has issued a gazette notification imposing the ban with effect from 31st March 2021. Accordingly, the use of polythene terephthalate or polyvinyl chloride material to package agrochemicals has been banned. Also banned are sachets having less than or equal to a net volume of 20 milliliters per net weight of 20 grams, except for packaging food and medicines. Inflatable toys except balloons, balls, water floating or pool toys, and water sport gear and cotton buds with plastic stems except plastic cotton buds used for medical or clinical treatment. To end the local news, the headlines again. Minister Dr. Sarath Weerasekara says that no one has a right to interfere with internal affairs of an independent nation under any means. The vaccination process of police officers with Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has commenced. 8 more coronavirus-related deaths have been reported in Sri Lanka yesterday. A small earthquake was reported from Valapane area in Nuwara Eliya this morning. Park and Ride city bus service will be introduced to Kandy area soon. A commission has been appointed to implement the recommendations of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into Political Victimization. That ends local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
On the main news story, the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau says a small earthquake was reported from the Valapane area in Nuwara Eliya this morning. An official of the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau stated that the quake measuring 2 units on the Richter scale was felt in the Akiria area in Valapane. According to the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau, the quake struck at 2:59 this morning. The Geological Survey and Mines Bureau stated that further investigations are being carried out into the incident. A small earthquake measuring 1.8 on the Richter scale also struck Valapane area on 22nd January. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watchlight, Sri Lanka Air Force has requested the public to refrain from sending kites, balloons or drones into the sky in the general area of Colombo. It has made the request as Air Force fly-past rehearsals for the 73rd Independence Day are underway in Colombo from January 28th to February 4th, where aircraft are flying at low heights.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news. Portugal close to running out of ICU beds for COVID cases. Central African Republic's capital in apocalyptic situation as rebels close in. Iran rejects new talks or parties in nuclear deal. Portugal has said it only had 7 vacant beds left in intensive care units set up for COVID-19 cases on its mainland as a surge in infections prompted the authorities to send some critical patients to Portuguese islands. Health Ministry data showed on Saturday that out of 850 ICU beds allocated to COVID-19 cases on its mainland, a record 843 beds were now occupied. The nation of 10 million people has had an additional 420 ICU beds for those with other ailments. Iran's foreign ministry has rejected any new negotiations or changes to the participants of Tehran's nuclear deal with world powers after French President Emmanuel Macron said any new talks should include Saudi Arabia. Iran began breaching the deal's limits on uranium enrichment activity after Washington withdrew from the pact in 2018 under then-President Donald Trump. The reimposed economic sanctions on Tehran. President Joe Biden's new administration has said it will rejoin the deal, but only after Tehran resumes full compliance with its terms. But Iran has rejected U.S. demands to reverse its acceleration of the nuclear program before Washington lifts sanctions on Tehran. The situation in the Central African Republic's capital of Bangui is apocalyptic as rebels encircle the city, a former prime minister says. Martin Ziguele said there was daily fighting across the country and that he couldn't leave Bangui without an armed escort. The UN says more than 200,000 people have fled their homes since the conflict erupted last month. Rebel forces now control two-thirds of the country. The Central African Republic is one of Africa's poorest and most unstable countries, even though it is rich in resources such as diamonds and uranium. The UN estimates that about half the population is dependent on humanitarian aid. To end the world news, the headlines again. Portugal close to running out of ICU beds for COVID cases. Central African Republic's capital in apocalyptic situation as the rebels close in. Iran rejects new talks on parties in nuclear deal. That ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Moving on to development news. Stressing the need to expedite the ban on single-use plastics through a proper and sustainable waste management mechanism that would help generate revenue to the economy, the Centre for Environmental Justice called upon the authorities not to be swayed by certain multinational companies which are responsible for haphazard garbage disposal and be transparent about where trash finally ends up. Presenting the outcome of a recent survey during a media briefing in Colombo on Tuesday, the Centre for Environmental Justice noted that around 90% of the respondents did not know where their trash ended. What is alarming is that of the 200 households included in the study, 75% use between 1 to 10 plastic bags a week, 40% go to the market around 3 times a day, and 44% shop weekly. Only 40% of the respondents carry their own bags and the rest only at times. It was found that around 57% dispose between 1 to 10 disposable cups weekly and 75% used less than 1 PET bottle per week. Of the respondents, 29% burn waste, while only 6% handed over plastic waste for recycling, 7% buried them. That ends development news. On to sports news. Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford says he was subjected to humanity and social media at its worst after receiving racist abuse on Saturday night. The 22-year-old, who was awarded the MBE for his work fighting child food poverty, received multiple racist messages on Instagram on Saturday. They were sent to the England striker after his club's 0-0 draw with Arsenal. That ends sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
On business news, Power Minister Dallas Alaperumu stated that 1,218 solar power cells, each capable of generating over 100 kilowatts of electricity, will be provided to residents in Kurunegala soon. He was speaking at a recent Rural Economic Infrastructure Development Committee meeting held at the Kurunegala District Secretariat. He said that Kurunegala would become the main district that generates electricity through solar power. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. It will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
A top official of the central bank last week said that the banking and finance sector regulator is confident the rupee will be firmer soon with measures taken to stabilize the currency. Central Bank Governor Professor W.D. Lakshman said the current trend will be reversed and the rupee will regain value soon. The rupee hovered between 185 to 200 against the greenback over the past month while depreciating by around 6% last year. Meanwhile, commercial banks have been prohibited from buying or selling foreign exchange for 3 months to stem the currency from losing value further. The central bank views the recent increase in volatility of the exchange rate as unwarranted and unacceptable. That ends economic news.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge. LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And finally on the weather report, showers will occur at times in northern, north central, eastern and Uva provinces and in Matale, Nuwara Eliya and Hambantota districts. Fairly heavy falls, about 50 millimeters, can be expected at some places in eastern province and in Polonnaruwa, Matale and Mulethu districts. Showers and thundershowers will occur at several places in western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in Galle, Matara and Kandy districts after 1 p.m. Heavy falls above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places. Misty conditions can be expected in western, central, Sabaragamuwa and southern provinces during the morning. To end this bulletin of news, the headlines again. Minister Dr. Sarath Weerasekara says that no one has a right to interfere with internal affairs of an independent nation under any means. The vaccination process of police officers with Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has commenced. 8 more coronavirus-related deaths have been reported in Sri Lanka yesterday. A small earthquake was reported from Valapane area in Nuwara Eliya this morning. Park and Ride city bus service will be introduced to Kandy area soon. A commission has been appointed to implement the recommendations of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into political victimization. Portugal close to running out of ICU beds for COVID cases. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.